Hello and welcome to my world. I'm of course Fred Kasdan. As you know, 7 nights a week I stream live over on Twitch playing a variety of video games. The link to my Twitch channel can be found in the description below. Now, as part of this year's gaming tour, I am trying to play many games I've never played with before. Some of which has already been featured in this year, including Runaway and The Division 2 as part of some new things that I've tried out this year and have enjoyed. And that trend continued this week on Monday with a one-night stream of Nancy Drew: A Secret Can Kill, or Secrets Can Kill, excuse me. Now, I am not at all familiar with the Nancy Drew franchise. I've heard of the character through the years. I mean, I did read some Hardy Boy adventures back in my youth, and from what my understanding is that like the Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew is owned by Simon and Schuster, and while the Hardy Boys were for young guys to read, Nancy Drew was for the girls. So it kind of would explain why I never looked into the Nancy Drew side of things. Probably not, but there's my excuse. Now, one thing that did surprise me is during the Steam Winter Sale at the end of 2019 was there was several bundles for a butt ton of Nancy Drew games. And I figured, okay, I like point and click mystery games and things of that nature. I like having to try to think my way through puzzles and figure these would be great for one night streams, considering we expanded to include some console gaming. So, in between larger games, these would be good things to throw to. And needless to say, I really should have looked into what I was getting myself into with Nancy Drew. Um, well, this game is done entirely. Secrets Can Kill is done from the first person perspective, so we're seeing everything through Nancy's eyes. And the standard thing, Nancy has actually got recruited to go undercover at a high school to look into a murder mystery where a jerk named Jake was killed because he got his hands a little too dirty with his amateurish blackmailing schemes that ends up being revealed through the course of the little mystery. Uh, Story-wise, it works. Definitely works. There are not that many characters you interact with. As a matter of fact, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 direct characters you interact with. 6 if you count a optional phone call that you can make for like some advice and things of that nature. And this game probably is up there with Runaway in terms of things being done procedurally or being very, very cryptic. There were times I actually had to break out a pen and pad. In fact, some of my notes are right here. To try and figure out a few things in terms of letters meaning numbers meaning letters of the alphabet and things like that. And but this game actually ends up having a dead wall where you can go through every obvious puzzle, an obvious clue to figure things out. But then you realize if you pursue every obvious avenue, it ends up being like, okay, wondering where the hell or what the hell you're supposed to do. And I actually spent the entire 9 p.m. hour of my stream on Monday night asking myself that same question. Okay, where the hell am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Because I kept going around in circles, finding a lot of the same stuff I've already did to try and fill out the task list of things that needed to be accomplished, and it was like the game broke my brain. The game broke my brain. It broke my brain to the point where it's like, you know what, fuck it. I was gonna close it out, restart it, and see if I missed anything, and that didn't necessarily work because this game has a sliding puzzle early on, which causes some madness to develop. And yeah, this game definitely has a approach to it where you really have to pay attention to every minute detail. Probably overkill in that regard. Now, the version of Secrets Can Kill that I played was the remastered version, and looking at notations and things for the original version, there were things that were cut out that probably would have made things even more obvious and straightforward from what I can tell. In particular, there was supposed to be a jacket in a locker that needed to be found, and that had a knife in it that would have allowed Nancy to have a more creative way of sneaking into a locked room. But that was cut from the remastered version, and the whole put the periodic elements in order thing. I was like, there was no way in hell I was going to figure that out on my own. I'm smart, but I'm sure as hell not that smart in terms of having to realize that was what needed to be done. So, now, how does this game hold up? Well, you can tell by the presentation over there, over here, over my left shoulder. And this game definitely is a product of its time. This is clearly a budget title in that it's not a fancy looking game, and audio wise this game does have issues. As a matter of fact, there were times where the audio was cutting off before lines were finished. I'm not sure if that was how it's programmed or how I had the settings were done, but is what it is there. In terms of display capturing on streaming purposes, I found it easier to put the game in windowed mode and do a window capture on it, although you have to reset it every time if you close it out, as I had learned. On it, it doesn't have, you can't just save your game and then go start up a new game. Within the game, you literally have to close it out and relaunch it to if you want to try and start a new game. So those are some of the technical issues and hiccups that I ran across as relates with this game, in addition to difficulties and issues with puzzles and things not being as obvious as they probably should have been. If this was more of a graphic adventure in the vein of, say, Runaway or like the Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, this game probably would have worked a lot like that. But considering the source material is literally putting you in the role of Nancy herself, I see why they did it from a first person perspective, and probably was a lot cheaper to do. Hence why I say earlier it was a budget title. In terms of recommending this game, I would recommend it with the asterisk of have a guide ready. I mean, I got through 2 hours of it without needing a guide, but once you do everything that's obvious, a guide is definitely needed if you're not picking up on some of the clues. I really wish there was more of a thing to indicate what you looked at, what you didn't look at, in a better way to track things within the context of the game itself. But it is what it is. So more than likely, I'm going to try my hands at other Nancy Drew games because I am going to try and go through as many things on my Steam library as possible, because that's what I do. I try to finish games by any means necessary. I'm not above it. I'm not above using other circumstances to finish a game. It's like, nope, definitely not above it. Oh, I almost forgot. If you're a completionist, there is an actual checklist at the end of the game before the credits roll. To in essence reveal to you like all the things that were optional that you may not have done. I only got maybe like 6 out of how many in-game side objectives were needed to be done. And I was trying to be thorough, but it is what it is there. Anyway, that will do it for this week's commentary, or what's turning into a diary series and my thoughts on whatever games I happen to finish. So till next time, my friends, and you are my friends, tighten your friendship bracelets, watch it hang down, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.